Hey everyone, and welcome back. You ever feel like the internet's speaking a whole new language these days?
Today, we are tackling NFTs and tokenization.
Two terms that I think sound a lot scarier than they really are.
You've probably heard these buzzwords absolutely everywhere,
Right.
but maybe you haven't really had a chance to dig in.
We're talking digital artwork selling for millions 1 minute.
And then, hardcore data security the next.
It's a lot.
It is.
And to help us untangle it all,
We have our expert guide here.
ready to break it down without all the tech headaches.
Absolutely.
So first up,
NFTs
the article we're diving into today
from Encryption Consulting.
calls them exclusive digital assets owned by an individual or organization.
Okay.
Simple enough.
I like.
Let's paint a picture here. Imagine owning the only officially verified one-of-a-kind.
Digital version of your favorite album cover ever.
Not just like a copy anyone can download,
The OG.
and you've got the blockchain.
That super secure digital ledger to prove it.
That, my friend, is an NFT in action.
And what's really interesting here is NFTs are kind of blowing up.
Way more than just art.
This article talks about their impact on things like real estate, supply chains,
Whoa.
even how we prove our identities online.
It's like cryptocurrency 2.0.
Instead of Bitcoin, where one is just as good as any other.
NFTs are all about being one of a kind.
Unique digital assets.
Okay.
It's like this, think of it like Bitcoin is to a dollar bill.
As an NFT is to a limited edition signed baseball card.
Okay, I like that analogy.
The article talks about NFTs bringing way more efficiency to online transactions.
Like, say, proving you own that vintage guitar you're trying to sell online without a mountain of paperwork.
Right.
They even hinted at a future where our digital identities are tied to NFTs.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely on the horizon.
Let's take supply chains, for example.
Right now, there's a lot of trust involved.
In making sure products are authentic and ethically sourced.
Yeah.
NFTs have the potential to track a product's entire journey on the blockchain.
We're talking about following a coffee bean from the farm all the way to your local coffee shop.
Oh.
All recorded and verifiable.
That level of transparency is huge.
Yeah, that would be massive, especially for industries battling counterfeits or unethical practices.
Absolutely.
But even with all this potential, there are risks, right? This article mentioned that if the platform hosting an NFT goes bust, you could lose it.
That's a little bit scary.
Oh, absolutely. Remember that NFT marketplace that shut down recently?
Yeah.
Thousands of people left high and dry.
Their digital assets basically vanished.
It highlights just how crucial it is to choose your platform carefully.
And really understand the risks involved.
Right, because as cool as it is to own a piece of internet history,
Not so cool if that history vanishes.
but hold on.
We've gone deep on NFTs, which are all about owning these unique digital things.
What about the everyday stuff?
That's where tokenization comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's less about flashy digital art and more about protecting your boring but essential data.
Okay, so we're talking about protecting my credit card number when I'm doing some late night online shopping, that kind of thing.
So instead of your actual credit card number being transmitted and stored all over the internet,
Yeah.
every time you buy something,
A random token
basically a stand-in.
with no real value on its own
Okay.
is used instead.
So if a hacker somehow got their hands on that token,
It's useless to them.
it's useless.
That's pretty clever.
But how does it even work?
Is there a giant digital vault somewhere?
Holding everyone's real data while these tokens are flying around out there?
You're on the right track.
Okay.
The article we're looking at talks about
How tokenization uses these really complex algorithms
to replace sensitive data.
with those random meaningless tokens.
And get this,
There is no direct mathematical relationship.
between the token and your actual data.
It's virtually impossible to reverse engineer.
All right, you lost me a little bit there.
But I'll trust you on the virtually impossible part.
As someone who still struggles to remember passwords,
I am happy to let the tech wizards handle that side of things.
but this all sounds pretty high-tech and expensive.
Are we talking about systems that only these massive corporations can afford?
Not at all.
And that's kind of the beauty of tokenization.
While it might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie,
It's becoming more and more common.
think about all those online transactions we do every day.
Yeah.
From booking flights to paying bills
Tokenization is working behind the scenes,
to keep our information safe.
even if we don't even realize it.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. But here's a thought. We talked about NFTs using blockchain technology,
Is that the same tech behind tokenization? Great question.
and it gets to the heart of how these technologies are similar, yet distinct.
Okay.
Both use cryptography,
but in different ways.
NFTs use the blockchain's permanent tamper-proof record keeping.
To guarantee ownership,
Tokenization, however, can be implemented in a few different ways.
not always relying on a blockchain.
Hey, single.
Making the digital world safer,
Exactly.
but different approaches.
It's like having multiple layers of security on your house.
Exactly.
And just like with home security,
Understanding those layers.
can help you make smarter choices.
So with NFTs, we've got these like unique digital assets,
Like owning a piece of internet history.
but with some risks to think about.
And then with tokenization,
It's more about making our everyday online stuff safer.
even if we don't really see how it works,
Did I get that right?
you got it.
And it just shows that these concepts are like intertwined.
Even if they seem totally different at first.
Like NFTs are the exciting new neighbors everyone's talking about.
And tokenization is the really reliable security system.
Quietly working in the background.
I like that.
Just like you want to know about your new neighbors.
And a good security system.
Knowing about both of these technologies is super important.
It is.
So for someone listening who's like intrigued by NFTs,
Maybe thinking about testing the waters?
what's the one thing they should take away from our deep dive today?
I would say don't just follow the hype.
NFTs have huge potential.
But it's still early days.
Okay.
Do your research.
Look past the headlines.
And try to really get what the technology is about
The risks.
and the platforms that you're actually considering.
There are so many good resources out there.
From experts to online communities.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
And learn from people who've been doing this for a while.
Solid advice.
And what about tokenization?
Is it enough to just trust that companies are keeping our data safe?
Or is there more we can do?
Complacency is never the answer.
Even with technology like this.
Yes, it's working behind the scenes.
But being proactive about your online security is key.
Start by just understanding your data rights.
Look into those privacy policies on the websites you're using.
Choose services that are all about data protection.
And don't hesitate to ask companies how they're protecting your info.
Knowledge is power.
So true.
This deep dive has been really interesting.
We went from digital art and blockchain
To the systems that are protecting our online shopping.
all in less than an hour.
And it's just the beginning.
NFTs and tokenization are changing so fast.
How they'll shape our digital future is a question we're all going to have to answer.
Okay, before we wrap up,
It's time for our deep dive tradition.
a final thought-provoking question for our listeners.
What's on your mind today?
We've talked about security and innovation a lot,
But it makes you wonder how we balance all that
with privacy and control.
in a world that relies so much on this tech.
Now that's something to think about.
A huge thank you to you for being our guide through all of this.
And to everyone listening,
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
remember the best way to navigate the digital world
Is to never stop asking questions, keep learning, and keep those minds engaged.
Until next time.